name is Jasmine, and I am your small town Grey Witch, here to talk to you about a deity that is very close to my heart, Azazel. I decided to talk to you guys about Azazel today because I've had numerous experiences with him. He is very close to my heart, as I just said, and today is a comfy day. We took a bath, and I have my lantern, and it's just a very warm and fuzzy day, and he brings on those very warm and fuzzy emotions for me. So, here it is, Azazel. Alright? So, yes, he is depicted as a fallen angel or a demon in the Book of Enoch. I will be making, or have made, so check my YouTube or whatever, for a history or stories about him that I have found, any kind of research that I have found on him. But that will be a different video. This is my experiences with him. So you'll get some past about him and his story, but mostly we will be working on my experiences with him. If you are interested in learning his story, the Book of Enoch is usually the main source with the most information about him. I really suggest you read that if you want to work with him, amongst other texts. However, please note that when you're reading places like the Bible or the Book of Enoch, acknowledge that it's coming from the point of view that opposes him. So the opposite viewpoint, not his. Alright? Everything else in this video, I will try to say what was my experience, or if it's something that was read. Okay? Alright. So, the first time, excuse me. It's one of those comfy days, so I'm yawning. The first time that I actually kind of was introduced to Azazel was actually through, I wouldn't say through Azrael, the angel of grief and mourning and death, but kind of. So I was researching angels, including Azrael and Michael, and I was taking classes about angels, and I was reading more about angels and things like that. And while researching Azrael, the angel of grief and death, and pretty much the transportator angel to death, I kept mixing up his name with Azazel. Like, I would go to talk about Azrael, and I would say Azazel. And it was actually almost to the point where I was like, are these two the same being? Because what of my tongue keeps messing up? Why? Why do I keep messing this name up? I'm reading it fine. I can read Azrael. See, even now, Azrael, and I can read it fine. Why do I keep saying it wrong? I would talk to my husband and I would say it wrong. And I was like, what's going on here? Because I don't do that. Azrael and Azazel, two separate. And the thing is, I was like, are they the same? Because I was researching and I was still kind of trying to figure this all out, and I'm always trying to figure this stuff out. I really am. But it was really bugging me. So I actually did it took like 2 or 3 days of right before bed shutting my TV off. I would put some oil on my forehead. I would do a nightly ritual of anointing myself, rubbing my whole body with lotion, really taking care of myself, and putting my body to sleep without the TV on. And every single time I went to bed, I would meditate right before bed, and I'd be like, are you the same being? What am I not seeing? What is up here? What's going on? Please let me know. And on the third night, oddly enough, and it was exactly 3 nights, on the third night, I got a dream. And I could tell there was a bunch of angels around, but they weren't quite, like, they were just around. They weren't with me, they weren't blah blah blah. And I saw Azrael. And I saw him and I immediately knew it was him. Like, immediately. And he appeared to me kind of as a younger, I won't say child, like 5-year-old, but I would say like probably like 10, 11-year-old. Because that's how angels come to me at first. So that way I don't get scared. It's this weird thing. They always show up as kids first. And I'm like, and only angels. Demons don't do that for me. But angels show up as children. I think it has something to do with the innocence aspect. And he comes to me and I'm like, you're Azrael. And he's like, he just kind of looks at me like, he doesn't need to answer that question. And I go, so, are you and Azazel the same being? In my dream, I'm like, are you and Azazel the same being? And he looks me dead in the eyes and he goes, he is not of God. And then I woke up. And that was it. That was the dream. But that gave me my answer. It was, he is not of God. Not, we are not of God. Or, I am not of God. Or, separate. It was, he is not of God. Indicating they were separate beings and he was darker. So that's where I needed to look. So that's where I started. And obviously, you always start with Google. And what did I search up when I found about Google? Of course, every pop culture reference ever that even barely used his name. The major one was Supernatural with the demon, the gold-eyed or yellow-eyed demon, Azazel in Supernatural. Note, that is nothing like Azazel the deity. Supernatural actually tends to use names, but doesn't do much research. I mean, like, the biggest demon is Aleister Crowley, is one of the biggest demons. And he was a person in Supernatural. So please do not, when you're going through these things, really, really vet your pop culture references. Don't really use them. So, that's what came up on Google. The other thing that came up on Google was short synopsis of his past history and the Book of Enoch and everything else. So I started researching and I started hoping to see him in my dreams so I could talk to him. Now, what I was kind of hoping to see, I will show you right now and eventually. So what I was hoping to see was kind of like this creature. Because this is the oldest picture of him, and then you would also see things like this. Or this is the most popular one. Or this is a secondary kind of configuring of him. And I knew he had to do with goats because of Yom Kippur, which is part of his back history, where the Jewish people actually have a, like, a whole thing with him, where they send out a goat to God, and then they send a goat into the desert, where they put all of their sins onto this goat, and then they send it out to Azazel, almost letting him be the scapegoat. So it was actually kind of interesting how it actually came to be. So I will keep playing this as we talk. So he was known as the scapegoat because the Jewish people put all their sins in, sent it out to him. It was actually kind of his thing. And the funny thing is, I was known as the black sheep of my family. Like, even, sadly, my family says to my face that I am the black sheep of the family because I am not Christian. I cut my hair funny. I say what's on my mind. It's kind of funny that they even call me the black sheep. Like, my cousins have blatantly said to my face. And I think when I was younger, when my mom or my sister would kind of like be late for birthdays, because my family's very big on getting together, and like, you're not supposed to be late in this, that, nothing. It was me. It was me and them. And I'm like, I'm not the late one. And then they would be like, yeah, it's you. And I had to prove that it wasn't me by separating from my mom and my sister and being like, I'm on time. I don't know where they are. And I figuratively and literally had to fight the concept of it being my fault. Things being my fault. My mom's money issues being my fault. Things like that. And they can deny that that was a thing when I was a kid, but I don't care. Deny it all you want. So if they watch this video, they're going to be like, why'd you say that? I'm going to be like, okay. Maybe not some of my family, but some others would. So, anyways, I was like, this is why you must want to work with me, is because this is a part of my family history. Like, this right here must be why you want to work with me. Please tell me in my dreams if this is the reason why you've been called to me. And it was, oddly enough, not necessarily the case. Like, that was not the reason why he came to me. And I was going to learn that later. So, I started meditating even more. Meditation, I'm horrible. I'm gonna be honest, I'm horrible. And I would meditate every day. But I don't do that. Like, I'm horrible when I say my meditation practice needs work. Like, I do it, but I should do it a lot more. Like, I'm probably doing it like 2 or 3 times a week when I really should be doing it every day. I really should. Because that's my main way of communicating with my spirits, other than feelings. And I really should, but workplace things, and I get tired, and then I can't focus, and then I'm spasmodic, and every excuse under the sun. So with him, he was like, I want you to meditate every single day. Like, I felt like I should. Something in my head was like, come on. So, sorry, I have Kitty, who is totally sleeping right now, and I just woke him up. So I started meditating every single day. Whether it be morning or night, I was meditating at least once in a 24-hour span. I want to point out to you guys a YouTuber called Satan and Sons, as you expect it, and they have a great meditation, a guided meditation for him. They also have created videos with his N that really, really helped me. So if you want to work with Azazel, that's where I was going at this time. And I started seeing him. In my meditations, and I started seeing him mostly at work while I was driving. I would kind of sit there, and you know how you just kind of like, you're driving and it becomes so mechanical, especially if you're doing the same routes, that you almost like muscle memory it. Well, that's what I was doing while thinking, and while I was trying to think and go through my own shadow work, because that's how I process. I would see him in my mind's eye. I never heard him in my mind's eye, but I would see him, and he would make gestures or smile or smirk at me. So while I was seeing him, I wasn't seeing him as those images I showed you. I will actually show you how I was slightly seeing him. So this is kind of actually what I was seeing. I know this picture, he's all chained up, which really goes to his backstory. But believe it or not, this, and I know it's pixelated and this, that, and the other thing, and shoot me down for the horrible thing. But, like, this is how I was seeing him, with the white hair, the kind of swirly maybe horn. Yes, sometimes the big wings, sometimes not. Like, and, like, just, like, this, like, black clothing, and sometimes he had a sword if he needed it, and sometimes he didn't. This is how I was seeing him. And he wasn't childish when he showed up, whether it be my dreams or in my mind's eye during meditation. He wasn't childish. He was more ironic and sarcastic. So if I finally realized something, he would smirk at me like, finally, or things like that. So I was doing a lot of shadow work with him, but I thought it was because of the scapegoat. And it's like he wouldn't help me with that. It's like when I was getting things wrong, he would go quiet. And then when I started being on the right track, he would show up more. There was actually one time during our, like, we were with it for months upon months upon months, even close to a year. I can't remember. I wasn't keeping track. And there was one time where I was being a turd. I wasn't meditating as much. I got tired, and I was like, I don't want to do this. It's hard. And he goes, and I'm like, but I still want to talk to you. Sorry, go. I still want to talk to you. I still want to have this relationship with you, but I just can't do this right now. I can't do the shadow work. It's getting hard. I can't figure it out. And he goes, okay. When you are ready, when you actually get on your butt, and he didn't say this, it was like knowing. You know, I didn't actually hear him say this. It was like a knowing. It was like, when you stop being a lazy piece of crap and do the work, that's when I'll come back to you. And I didn't hear him. I didn't see him. Nothing for those couple weeks. Okay? And I was like, fuck, I want to speak to you. I want to hear from you. I think this is really cool that we're forming this bond. I'm super, like, appreciative. And he said nothing. I could kind of feel him around. Like being around me, but in the distance. And he said nothing. So, if you're going to be lazy, and if you're going to be arrogant, I learned, he's just going to step back. And maybe that's what I needed. So, I started meditating again, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do the work. Fuck it. No matter how much it hurts, I'm ready to do the work. Now, again, I kept thinking scapegoat. It's got to be through this. It's got to be through that. And that's why it was getting hard, because I couldn't figure it out. And I'm going through all this stuff, and I'm like, is it this? And he's like, that's not what you need to know. Is it that? It's not what you need to know. And I'm like, nah. Can you give me a hint here, person? And he's just looking at me, and he's going, keep going. Just do it. And I'm like, that's not helpful. And I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going. Well, he kept showing up in my dreams, and I would chase, literally, he would try to show me something. And it's like, I could just never see it, and he would tell me, just do it. Just go through the door, or go through the hallway. And I'm like, but I can't see anything in the hallway. And he's like, just do it. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And I'd wake up when I almost refused to go through the doors and things like that. And he would be like, just do it. That was kind of his thing. He would always say, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm not going to get into what I was actually trying to work on, but it had to do with the past, and that scapegoat feeling, and that's probably as deep as I'll go. It does go a lot deeper, but it is what it is. So he would come through and he would just kind of look at me. Like lot of the motions was him just saying, "Just keep going. You'll figure it out eventually." Or him smirking at me or sitting back and watching me, and I was frustrated with him. I'm not gonna lie. And I actually decided to make him a deal. And I sat there and I was like, "So, here's the thing. This is hard. And I'm getting frustrated and I don't want to stop again because that's a hard thing for me to do. I actually want to I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. I will do something good, and in return, please be a little less cryptic. I know it's your thing, but please help me with this." So, the thing I offered to do for him was helping the community. So, they have an old homestay, and at where in the town I live in, which is pretty much like a bunch of different vendors. They'll have like the kids karate put on a little show, and then the cheerleaders put on a little show from the middle schools and under schools, and different vendors from crafters, and they'll have blow ups, and it's actually a pretty good time. And then vendors like the fireman, the fire like sorry, the fire department always has a booth that makes like hand cut amazing french fries, and you can put vinegar on them. It's a thing. It's a small town thing. It's just something that happens every year. And it's actually so close to my house that a good 10-15 minute walk and you're there because it's in the main square. All right? So this is the thing. And I was like, "You know what? I will be a vendor. I will be a vendor, and I will do tarot readings, and I'm going to do it for donation. So it's not going to be, it's going to be whatever people can afford. The tarot readings will be free, but I'll have a donation jar, and then that donation jar is going to go to our local humane society. One that actually I rescued my cat at. So this local humane society is a no-kill shelter. They are really amazing. They do low cost to no cost spay and neuter clinics for the community. They're just amazing. And they work with you if you want an animal. They're not super like you need only the best toys and only the best things. They're more, because there's a lot of places around here that are very strict if you want an animal. Like, I understand that it's one thing if you want a huge dog and you don't have a backyard, and I can understand that. But if you want a cat and you have all the toys and the litter box and the food and everything else, and you have a good apartment and this, that, and the other thing, they're not going to deny you because you're a little weird. Which is a thing at other animal shelters around here. I've gotten denied because my cat would run into walls, and I'd be like, "What, you stupid?" And I was telling them that joke once, and they were like, "Why would you call a cat stupid?" Well, they ran into a wall. And that they denied me for that. So this place doesn't do that. They understand that humans and animals, as long as the animals are being fed, well taken care of, being silly, they're a part of your family, they're willing to work with you. And they really help out the community with donations, and if you're low on food, they'll give you food if you're having a hard time, things like that. They're just a really amazing place. So I will do tarot readings for free. So you could even get one for free, but I will have a donation jar for that society, and I will donate anything I make to the Humane Society from my community. They're really amazing. So anyways, that's what I decided to do, and I said, I will actually do this. I've been talking about doing it. I will do this in your honor if you help me figure out whatever I need to figure out. And I got this warm glow from him. Not like bright, or it was just warm. It was like him sitting back and just nodding. Like, I don't know how he had a really fancy black chair, but it wasn't like a throne. It was just like a really decked out kind of black chair, and he's sitting back in it, and I saw this in my mind's eye, and he's just nodding with a smile, like a shit-eating grin on his face, and he's just nodding, and I'm like, so since you're nodding yes, I'm going to take that as a yes. And he just fucking, his smirk grew, and I'm like, alright, we got a deal. We're good. Let's do this. So I started working on that. All forward, steam ahead with that. I got accepted as a vendor, and I was like, see, okay, I'm doing it, so you can see I'm doing it. I got accepted as a vendor. I'm gonna do it. Now can you help me with this? What am I supposed to do? And he's like, just do it. And I'm like, that's not what I need. And he's like, and I could see him kind of pointing, and he would be like, pointing at things. Like, he'd be pointing at the book I need to look at. Or, if I picked up a book, he'd be like, in my mind's eye. And I'm like, okay, I'll read this book. It's okay. I'll read the book. And he'd be like, and I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to read this book and work through the prompts. And he'd be like, and I'd be like, okay, I'm just doing it. And throughout this process, everything I picked up, he would just kind of be like just hand motion. And I'm like, okay. So I was doing my tarot books that I was doing classes for. I was getting that done at this time to get ready for that. I learned a lot about tarot reading during that time because I was doing classes and books and reading books about tarot and this, that, and the other thing. And every time I'd pick up a tarot book, he'd be like, I'm like, okay, just do it. I hear you, finally. All right. I wanted to start this YouTube, and I'm like, what if I start a YouTube? And he'd be like, and I'm like, okay, just do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I really had to start this YouTube because this YouTube was actually going to be, so I was gonna do tarot readings and promote my YouTube, and then give all donations. That was gonna be my big thing. So, and I'd be like, all right, what should I talk about? And he'd look at me, and I'd be like, just do it. All right, I hear you. And I would start I came up with ideas. I have my book now. I'm obviously here talking to you. So that came about, the just do it policy that he was trying to teach me. And if you haven't gotten what he was probably trying to teach me at this point, he was trying to teach me just do it. Stop putting it off. Stop making excuses. If this is something you want to do with your magic, just do it. So at that point, I was doing spells that I just wanted to do, that I was thinking about forever. When it came to concepts about journaling or things like that, I was just doing it. I was finding time and just doing it. It was really a proactive time. And the funny thing is, I remember, I'm like, okay, I get the message. I got it. And I'm like, sitting there. And I'm like, question. Why does everybody think you're scary? Like, you don't scare me. You pretty much have been hands off, other than just do it, this whole time. You don't scare me. Like, why do people see you as scary? Like this big bad Azazel. But really, like, you don't scare me. I really appreciate what you're teaching me. I'm starting to get it. Like, you want me to just do it. No holds bars, just do it. I mean, like, him just doing it is why I got a chest tattoo. Like, just do it. Just do it. Don't fuss around, don't worry about it, just do it. So, like, if this is the only thing you're teaching me, you come off as a cute little, like, image of this. This is what you come off as. This isn't that scary demon that everybody's saying you look like. Like, why are you not coming off as that to me? Like, what am I missing here that other people aren't missing? Because nothing that I've researched about you lines up with anything else anybody has ever said. Like, they're talking about dark faces, the kind you would see in, like, Insidious of the Red Demon. They're showing those kinds of faces. They're showing, like, scary, but you're almost attractive to me. Like, what's going on here? Where's the disconnect? You're my first dark entity that I've worked with. What's going on here? Well, funny enough, that night, I'm sleeping. And it's right around the morning, like, right where the best dreams hit. And I'm not having any dreams that night. And I was having dreams. Consistently. And, like, funny enough, I have a dream that one night, and it's literally just, and it didn't feel like a dream. It did not feel like a dream. It felt like this was happening. It really felt like this was happening to me. Like, there was, so it came right to my right side. I was sleeping on the left side of the bed if you're facing the bed from the foot. So my right side was by the edge of the bed. My husband's lying next to me where he's dead asleep. And it's like something was kneeling or coming, like, crawling from the side of the bed up against the bed, came right here in my face and went, hello. But, like, in a super creepy demon-y voice, and, like, had the demon-y face. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Insidious with that red demon thing that, like, dances around, it was kind of like that. Like, right here. And it was just, hello. And, like, he smiled, and he, like, the most shit-eating grin ever. It scared the bloody poop out of me. And I sat up. And I'm hyperventilating. At that point, I woke up. It immediately woke me up. I was freaking scared. And I'm hyperventilating. And I'm like, or at least breathing really hard. You know what I'm talking about? Like, where it's like, holy shit. What was that? And at first, I'm super scared. And then I love being scared. I'm like a horror fanatic. So I start smiling. And I'm like, what was that? What was that, Azazel? Like, I knew it was him. It just took me a little bit to actually get consciousness to immediately just know it was him. And I'm like, what's that? What was that? And he goes, you wanted scary. And that was, like, that's all he had to say in my head. Like, and I heard him, like, clear as day in my head going, you wanted scary. And I'm like, dude, okay, I get it. You can be scary when you want to be scary, and you can be sweet when you want to be sweet. Like, we're good. If you want to keep doing that and keep scaring the poop out of me, that is absolutely fine. I think it's hilarious. I love being scared. So, like, if that's the way you want to go with me, fine. But, like, I get that you are showing me what I need. So, we're good. If you want to keep doing that, but, like, thank you for answering my question. Like, you are showing me the you that I need to see so that way I can get the message I need to get. Everybody else might see that you, the scary you, because it puts the fear in them to learn the message. But scary things don't really work on me. So I get it. The blatant just do it. It was like I was trying to find hidden meanings, and I immediately understood I was trying to find hidden meanings in a message that had no hidden meanings. I'm sitting there and realizing that. And he's showing me what I need to see. So that it wasn't no hidden meanings. It wasn't a scapegoat. It wasn't this. It was just do it. That was the lesson. If I want to do something, especially, if it's a good thing, stop making excuses. Stop trying to find reasons not to do it. Stop being scared to do it. Just do it. Because I can do it. And I'm strong enough to do it. And I'm like, okay. And I go, well, you're showing me this and you're showing me that. I want to enhance my psychic powers. Or psychic gifts or whatever. My Nana used to be able to see the future in dreams. I want to do that. So we're going to work on that. And I started now I was doing a nightly ritual whenever I had a question. And I was meditating every single day. So I wanted to do a nightly ritual again. I wanted to do it daily. In hopes for dreams. I'm actually trying to get back to my habits of that. But no TV was the big one. Because TV shuts off my dreams. Lotions, if you want them, on my hands. Because I have a certain smelling lotion. So I'd rub lotion on my hands. I would anoint myself if it need be. And I would go to sleep. Well, I started seeing dreams of, I don't want to say the future, but it was kind of the future. Or it was things that I weren't privy to during the day. So a lot of them were personal to my husband's family, or at least the other big one that was personal to my husband's family, I will not go into. So I was seeing dreams of things that about their lives that they weren't telling me right away or telling him right away. And I was like, okay, these things are a thing, Josh. And he's like, oh, it can't be that bad. And I'm like, no, there's definitely going to be issues. Like, there's definitely going to be issues. Like, we should be there for them if they need us. There's definitely going to be issues. And he was like, you can't know this. And I'm like, no, trust me. Like, something's not right. I don't know how to tell you I know, but I saw it in a dream. And the funny thing is, he would break down the dream to the mini details. And I'm like, no, you have to understand it's still a dream. There are still mini details that don't make sense. Look at the big picture of the dream. That's what I'm trying to grasp. The big picture of the dream is A, B, C. All the mini details don't matter. And he'd be like, but mini details. And I'm like, it's still a dream. Mini details don't matter. A, B, C. And it's still their personal lives, so we shouldn't go to them. We should just try to make sure that they know we're there for them when they need us. Because with these certain people, I didn't want to tell them that I knew because I didn't want to cross any boundaries. And also, this was something new. So I was like, hey, I know that you're having issues. My dreams told me you were having issues. That doesn't, especially when people want their privacy, that doesn't go over well. So I was like, let's just let them know that we're always there for them. And then that can be the way it is. Well, come to find out what I was seeing was true. We found that out at a camping trip and things like that. And I was like, so that was a thing. Then, right before the camping trip, so between the dream and when I got actual camping trip, I'll tell you this one for 100% sure. So I had a different dream. And it had to do with work. I drive trucks for a living. So I saw one of our trucks, believe it or not, the truck I hate, and it was dirty. It was covered in crap. It was filled with crap, covered with crap. It was just dirty. And I'm like looking down into the truck, like, and we have to wash this truck very, very well and very consistently, or else it has issues. I hate this truck for that reason. It's an unforgiving truck. Okay? This truck really needs a lot of maintenance, and I can't stand it. I really can't. I hate this truck. It doesn't run. It's not nice. I don't like it. So it was just freaking dirty. And I'm like, and I could see, and I'm sitting there looking into this truck, and it's dirty, and I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna be an issue. I just felt this, like, dread in this dream. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to deal with that. It's gonna be an issue. It's gonna cause problems amongst the workers. Because we have this thing of, if you've used the truck last, you have to wash it. If somebody else uses it right after you, before you get to a chance to wash it, you still have to wash it. So if person A uses the truck and doesn't wash it, and person B jumps into it before person A has a chance to wash it, after person B uses it, person A still has to wash it. It's just because that way you're not putting off washing it in hopes that the next person will get stuck washing it. It's kind of like that safety guard. So I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Like, this is good. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not in that truck. I haven't driven that truck in a while. But there's going to be issues. And it's going to cause issues amongst the workplace that I'm going to be privy to. I might not be involved, but, like, I'm going to be at least privy to. Like, watching it. And that's going to be the pain in the butt. So, I woke up and I told Josh, and I'm like, I don't know how to tell you that this wasn't a dream. This is going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. It's not a dream. It was a dream, but it wasn't a dream. I'm telling you that it's going to happen. And that's my husband's name, Josh, by the way. And he goes, well, how about you go in? Your bosses always think you're woo-woo. You're a little... So they're just going to shrug you off. So how about you go in, tell your boss it was a dream specifically. Tell your boss everything you know about the dream. And tell him that you don't think it's a dream and that it's going to happen. Like, just be 100% honest with your boss and your assistant boss specifically. Give them a heads up. Let them know it's your woo-woo crap. And let them know. And I'm like, fine, okay, fine. I will. They're going to think I'm insane. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to look like I have egg in my face. Like I'm second guessing myself, but I'm like, I got to do this. And again, just do it. Came into my head. And I'm like, okay. So I went up to my boss and I'm like, hey, boss man, I got to tell you something. This is completely nonsensical. This is completely my woo-woo shit. That's what we call it. My witchy shit. My woo-woo shit. My witchy shit. Whatever. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a big issue with truck. It's not going to be clean. I can see a huge mess in my dream, and it's going to cause huge issues, and it's going to do it before Thursday. And I just wanted to let you know, because you're the boss, and you're going to have to deal with the issues, because it's going to cause huge issues. I don't know when. Today is only Monday, but it's going to happen before Thursday. And I also went to my assistant boss, and I said, look, that truck's going to have issues. It's going to be a mess. Make sure it's not a mess. I'm giving you the warning to make sure that it's not a mess. Because it's going to cause big issues. Like, somebody's going to rip crap over the mess. Like, it's just going to cause a lot of issues over the workers. That this truck is dirty. And I don't know if it's going to break down because it's dirty. I don't know if People are going to freak out. I don't know. I just know that it being dirty is going to cause a lot of issues. And I told this to my secondary boss, too. And I go, it was a dream I had. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to happen before Thursday. Well, funny enough, Tuesday, coworker A used the truck, and he didn't get a chance to clean it. On Wednesday, coworker B, and actually, funny enough, my secondary boss, that lower boss, was coworker B. So he knew that I warned him that the mess in the truck would be an issue. And he's totally spaced it. He totally, like, completely forgot what I said about on Monday. He admitted to me that he didn't even remember that I said that. He admitted to me that on Thursday. So coworker B used the truck on Wednesday. And coworker B assumed that he had to wash it. Coworker A assumed he had to wash it. Coworker B didn't know that coworker A didn't get a chance to wash it, or he thought he was going to end up washing it anyways. I don't know what was going through his head. But he didn't empty it properly to be washed. He left bags of crap in this truck. And it was gross, like, whatnot. It was really, really bad. So he parks the truck, and it's filled with bags of crap instead of cleaning the crap out. Like we should have. And coworker B left bags of crap in it, and he parks it. Well, coworker A comes in to wash the truck because he was supposed to wash it and he didn't get a chance. He's thinking he had to wash it. Opens up the back of this truck, and it has crap in it. It has so much crap in it. And he's like, I don't want crap to go all over the ground. We're supposed to empty it. What the hell? And he gets all mad. Rightfully so. And he's like, this is not okay. Like, you need to empty all of the crap out of this truck. It's disgusting. I can't wash it and spray it down where there's bags of crap in it. You're supposed to empty the crap out. Well, coworker A freaks out on coworker B and says, you did this. Not swearing, not yelling, just like, what the hell, you did this. You can't do that. He also goes to the boss and goes, he can't do that. He's supposed to be the boss. He should know better. What the heck? Understandably. Well, coworker B, underling boss man, was like, well, I thought I had to clean it anyways. I did nothing wrong. And that set coworker A off. And coworker A has a very bad habit of going off. He didn't swear, he didn't cuss, he didn't, like, massively yell, but, like, he was like, this is ridiculous. And coworker B was like, it's not my fault. I thought I had to clean it. And coworker A was like, it doesn't matter if you had to clean it. You still can't leave bags of crap in it. Anyways, long story short, I went to coworker B and I went, dude, just admit you messed up. Like, just admit it. Like, don't let all of this get chaotic. Just be like, my B, I messed up. I will wash the truck. I will take care of it. I messed up. And his pride got to him and he was like, I didn't mess up. F you. He swears he said F you to the other guy, but, like, he was responding to me. But he said it loud enough that coworker A heard it, and as well as a lot of the people around the shop, like customers and stuff, that shouldn't have heard it. So coworker A was like, he can't swear like that, especially in front of the customers. Like, there's a customer there. He can't do that. Last time I did that, I got written up. So boss man was like, you're right. So he ended up writing up coworker B. And this was a whole big fight. People yelling at each other, people swearing at each other. It was just everyone standing around watching it. Us, customers, everything. Like, I probably shouldn't have said, hey dude, just admit. I should have probably kept my mouth completely shut. But I was trying to be helpful to just mitigate the situation. And it was a whole big thing over the dirtiness and the bags of crap in this truck. So you can see where that relates. And I know that's a long story, but you can see where that relates to my dream and everything else. So literally I went home and I'm peeing because I just got home. You know how you go home, you take all of your bags off, you take your shoes off, you go to the bathroom, you do all things. And as I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm like, oh, my dream came true. My dream came true. And I immediately texted my boss and I'm like, I told you. Because I totally spaced my dream too. Like, I didn't, like, you put it back in your mind when everything's going crazy. I didn't. And I'm like, I told you. My dream came true. I knew it. Well, that happened. And I'm sitting there with Azazel and I'm like, thank you. Like, this is a new gift. I don't know how to use it. I will try to pay attention when you show me these dreams from now on so that way I can pre-prepare how I'm going to act. Because I probably shouldn't have said anything. Maybe I can negate some of these issues if you show me these dreams more. Well, funny enough, he showed me one more dream. And it was a guy at work, and he's just on the edge, and he's kind of tiptoeing through. Like, he could fall, or he could step in to the land and be safe. And it was just, and I'm like, so I went to the person, and I shouldn't have. And Azazel told me not to. I got kind of prideful. And I was like, I had this dream. I'm going to tell him. I'm awesome. I have this new gift. I can do whatever I want. I know things. And come to find out, I misinterpreted the dream incorrectly. Or kind of incorrectly. I interpreted it as definites instead of a warning. And it was meant to be a soft warning, not an indefinite. So it came off really bad. And that was my pride. And I have to acknowledge that in this video because I am not perfect. And neither is anybody else. And I think it's really important to admit when you mess up. And Azazel's like, so you learned this lesson too. And I think you need a break. And he's been around, but we haven't massively, like, he's helped me with some smaller things here and there, but he hasn't massively worked with me with that in a very long time. And I started working with a different deity. I pulled cards, and it showed, because I was like, I'm not hearing from you. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. And I pulled cards because I kept hearing this other deity on the kind of like the back, like, I taught you your lessons, get going. And he said, I'm going, like, Azazel, I asked him, I'm like, please tell me what's going on. And I pulled cards, and it showed Azazel stepping back in my card pull, and a new deity or a new spirit coming forward to help me with a new part of my journey. New lessons to learn. So currently, he is always going to be my heart. It seems like he is still around. But I moved into a different deity to learn a different lesson. Because I had to learn some hard lessons with Azazel. And that is my experiences with Azazel. He really loved to say, just do it. And he thought it was hilarious, scaring the crap out of me that night. And he told me I can use the gift as long as I use it correctly. So those were the 3 things that I really, really, really cherish from him. And I know he's still around. And I adore him immensely. And I just wanted to tell you guys my experience with him. Because if you guys had any kind of similar experience, I would love to hear it in the comments. And maybe we can compare different things and how he approaches us all in the way that we need to be done. Or need to be approached to get the lesson learned. Alright. I'm going to let you off with that. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked this video. And most importantly, go do magic. Bye, guys.